20 forgotten medicinal plants that healed in the past. Have you ever heard that in the past people used plants to heal themselves? Before pharmacy medicines, our grandparents and great-grandparents turned to herbs, leaves and roots to treat illnesses. Many of these plants have fallen into oblivion, but some may still be useful today. Let's get to know 20 of them, in a simple way, as if we were talking in the kitchen at home. First, it is important to understand that these plants do not replace doctors. They can help with small things, like a headache or indigestion, but if the problem is serious, it's always best to see a professional. That said, let's go. 1. Artichoke. It's not just a delicious food. Its leaves helped with the liver and digestion. If you've eaten too much and are feeling heavy, an artichoke leaf tea can soothe it. 2. Rosemary. Almost everyone has one in their backyard. In addition to seasoning food, it was used to improve memory and relieve muscle pain. A bath with rosemary leaves the body relaxed. 3. Rue. This strong plant was used to ward off the evil eye and also to relieve menstrual cramps. But be careful, it is toxic in large quantities, so only use in small doses. 4. Burdock. It looks like a common plant, but its roots helped cleanse the blood and treat skin problems such as pimples. Today, it is still used in some natural shampoos. 5. Calendula. These little orange flowers are great for healing wounds and minor burns. If you cut yourself in the kitchen, calendula ointment can help the wound heal faster. 6. Chamomile. Everyone knows chamomile tea to calm down, but it was also used to relieve stomach aches and even to lighten hair. 7. Comfrey. This plant was famous for helping broken bones heal faster. Today, it is still used in ointments for joint pain. 8. Dandelion. That little plant that grows in the backyard and looks like a bush. Its leaves are rich in vitamins and help detoxify the body. You can even make salad with them. 9. Lemon balm, widely used to calm the nerves. If you're stressed, drinking lemon balm tea before bed can help you relax. 10. Erva de Santa Maria. This plant was used to kill intestinal worms. Today, it is still recommended in some places for those who have parasites. 11. Ginger. Everyone knows that ginger is good for colds, but it also helps with digestion and relieves nausea, like those that some people feel in a car. 12. Mint. In addition to freshening your breath, mint relieves gas and stomach pain. An iced peppermint tea is great for hot days. 13. Wormwood. This bitter plant was used to whet the appetite and improve digestion. But be careful, it is strong and should not be used for a long time. 14. Mallow. Its leaves were used to soothe throat and skin irritations. If you have a cough, gargling with mallow tea may help. 15. Basil. In addition to seasoning food, basil was used to relieve headaches and improve circulation. Basil tea is delicious. 16. Melissa. Similar to lemon balm, but with a milder smell. It was used to calm the heart and help you sleep better. 17. Yarrow. This plant was used to stop bleeding and relieve menstrual pain. If you've cut yourself, you can place a crumpled sheet of paper on top to stop the bleeding. 18. Sage. Widely used to treat inflammation in the throat. Gargling with sage tea can help soothe a sore throat. 19. Thyme. In addition to seasoning food, thyme was used to relieve coughs and bronchitis. A homemade thyme syrup can be useful in winter. 20. Nettle. It seems like a bad plant because of the stings, but it was used to treat joint pain and even anemia. Today, it is still used in soups and teas. These plants were very important in the past, when there weren't as many medicines as there are today. Many of them can still be found in backyards, gardens, or even in pots indoors. But remember, before using any plant as a medicine, it's a good idea to research or ask someone who understands the subject, because some can be harmful if used incorrectly. In the end, the most important thing is to know that nature has always had its ways of helping us. And even though today we have pharmacies full of medicines, it never hurts to know a little more about these forgotten plants. Who knows, maybe you'll discover a new ally to take care of your health in a more natural way. Here are some more plants that our ancestors used to take care of themselves and that, often, we don't even imagine can help today. Rosemary, for example, is not just used to season food. The ancient Greeks believed that it improved memory, and it is no wonder that to this day some people use its tea to concentrate better. Additionally, applying a little rosemary oil to your hair can help strengthen it and even reduce hair loss. It is an easy plant to grow, even in a small pot on the kitchen window. Another common plant is mint. Who has never had mint tea to relieve stomach pain or poor digestion? It was also used to freshen breath and even calm the mind. If you've ever smelled that delicious mint smell and felt more relaxed, you know what I'm talking about. And the best part, you can plant it at home, even in a shady corner. Calendula, that little orange or yellow flower that many people think is just a decoration, was used to heal wounds and soothe irritated skin. Today, it is still common to find ointments and soaps with calendula to treat diaper rash, minor burns, or even pimples. If you have a small piece of land or a large pot, you can try growing it. And the boldo. Who has never heard their grandmother recommend boldo tea after a heavy meal? It is famous for helping the liver and digestion, especially when we eat something fatty. But be careful, it's not to be taken every day, because too much can be harmful. Chilean boldo, for example, is stronger and should be used with care. There is also chamomile, which many people know as the tea that helps them sleep. But it's not just for that. Ancient Egyptians used chamomile to treat fevers and inflammation. Today, some people wash their eyes with cold tea to relieve mild irritation. It is a delicate plant, but it grows well in pots or beds. And basil, in addition to giving food a special flavor, was used to relieve headaches and even insect bites. Some cultures believed it brought protection and good energy to the home. If you have a basil plant in your kitchen, you can use its fresh leaves in teas or even chew one or two to relieve stress. These plants show how nature has always had simple solutions to everyday problems. Many of them are still out there, waiting to be rediscovered. But it's always good to remember, even though they are natural, they can have strong effects. Therefore, before using any of them as medicine, it is worth talking to someone who understands the subject or doing a lot of research. In the end, the cool thing is to realize that taking care of your health doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes, the answer is right there, in the backyard or in the window of the house. And who knows, by trying one of these plants, you might find a lighter, more natural way to feel better. And it's not just these ancient plants that can help. Many of them are still used today, but in a different way. For example, rue, which grandmothers used to hang on the door to ward off the evil eye, was also used to relieve headaches and digestive problems. Today, we know that it has calming properties, but also that it must be used with care, because in excess it can be toxic. Another forgotten plant is wormwood, which was once called herb saint for its medicinal properties. In ancient times, it was used to combat worms, improve digestion, and even as a natural remedy against malaria. Today, it is still found in some digestive teas, but few people remember it. The taste is bitter, but those who have already taken it guarantee that it works. And what about plantain? This little creeping plant, which many people think is a weed, was used to heal wounds and soothe insect bites. Just crush the leaves and place them on the wound to feel the relief. It's a remedy so simple that it seems like magic, but it's just nature doing its work. The most interesting thing is that many of these plants grow without needing much care. Aloe vera, for example, survives even in small pots and is great for burns and hydrating the skin. Mint, which everyone knows, in addition to freshening breath, helps calm the stomach and even relieve cramps. And rosemary, which many people use only to season food, is also a powerful stimulant for memory and circulation. The secret is to observe. Often, the plant that you pull out of the garden because you think it is a weed may be just the medicine you need. Of course, it's always good to be careful. Some plants are too strong to be used without guidance, and others can cause allergies. But, with a little curiosity and research, you can find natural solutions that have worked for centuries. And you don't need to be an expert to get started. How about trying chamomile tea before bed? Or apply some aloe vera on a sunburn? Small attitudes like these show that ancient wisdom still has a lot to teach. After all, if it worked for our great-grandparents, why wouldn't it work for us? Nature has always had the answers. We just need to learn to listen. And the best of all is that many of these plants are within our reach, growing in backyards, pots, or even vacant lots. Mint, for example, is easy to find and does wonders for digestion. A warm tea after a heavy meal can prevent that feeling of a full stomach and discomfort. Rosemary, in addition to giving a special flavor to food, helps improve memory and relieve headaches. Just boil some leaves in water and inhale the steam to feel the relief. Another forgotten but powerful plant is calendula. Its orange flowers are not just used to decorate the garden. They have healing and anti-inflammatory properties. A homemade ointment made from the petals can treat cuts, insect bites, and even diaper rash in babies. And what about sage? In addition to being great for seasoning meat, it has been used for centuries to soothe sore throats. Gargling with sage tea can soothe a sore throat within a few hours. But be careful, not all plants are harmless. Rue, for example, is known for its medicinal properties, but in excess it can be toxic. The same goes for wormwood, which helps treat worms, but should not be consumed by pregnant women or in large quantities. Therefore, before using any plant as a medicine, it is worth researching or asking for guidance from someone who understands the subject. The cool thing is that many of these plants can be grown at home, even in small spaces. A pot of basil on the window is enough to have a fresh seasoning and a natural remedy for an upset stomach. Or a boldo tree, which grows easily and is great for liver problems. Even nettle, which many people avoid because of itching, can be useful. Its leaves, when cooked, become a tea full of nutrients, good for anemia and tiredness. The truth is that nature has always offered simple and effective alternatives to take care of your health. There is no need to spend a lot of money on industrialized medicines when we have such affordable options. Of course, in serious cases, it is important to see a doctor, but for minor everyday discomforts, plants can be great allies. So, the next time you see a little plant growing in your backyard, instead of pulling it out, why not give it a chance? Research, experiment carefully, and discover how something so simple can make a big difference. After all, the wisdom of plants is a treasure that has passed down generations, and it still has a lot to teach us. And it's not just the best-known plants that help. Often, those that grow without anyone paying attention hide incredible properties. For example, plantain, that little leaf that appears in the middle of the lawn, is great for healing wounds and relieving insect bites. Just crush a fresh leaf and place it on the wound. The feeling of relief is almost immediate. Another forgotten plant is the dandelion, which many people treat as weeds. Its leaves are rich in vitamins and help cleanse the liver, while the flowers can be used to make a light, digestive tea. Even the root, roasted and ground, has been used as a coffee substitute in times of scarcity. And who would have thought that rue, that strong-smelling plant that many grandmothers grow, could be useful? In small amounts, because too much is harmful, it helps relieve headaches and even menstrual cramps. But be careful. You need to use it carefully, because some plants, such as rue, can be toxic if used incorrectly. The coolest thing is that many of these plants grow alone, without needing special care. Nettle, for example, appears in vacant lots and roadsides. Even though it is irritating to the touch, when cooked, it becomes a natural remedy for joint pain and even for strengthening hair. The secret is to observe and learn. Often, the answers to small health problems are right under our noses, growing in the garden or on the path we walk every day. Just look more closely and recover the knowledge that our ancestors already used. After all, nature didn't invent these plants for nothing. They are there to help us, as long as we know how to use them. And it's not just the nettle that appears without asking permission. Plantain, for example, is that little plant with broad leaves that grows on sidewalks and backyards. Many people pull it out like weeds, but it is a true natural first aid kit. If you get a cut or an insect bite, crushing a leaf and placing it on the wound helps it heal faster and relieves itching. Even for a sore throat, making tea with the leaves can bring relief, because it has properties that soothe irritation. Another plant that many people know about without knowing its value is the dandelion. That yellow flower that turns into a little hat of white seeds and flies in the wind isn't just beautiful, it's powerful. The leaves, when young, can be eaten raw in salads and are full of vitamins. The root, roasted and ground, becomes a coffee substitute, without caffeine and with a slightly bitter, but delicious, taste. And the best part, dandelion helps the liver to work better, cleansing the body of toxins. Even plants that look like just decorations have their tricks. Rosemary, for example, has been used for centuries to improve memory. If you're studying or needing to concentrate, smelling a fresh twig or drinking weak tea can help. Furthermore, it is great for muscle pain. Just make a homemade oil with the leaves and olive oil and massage where it hurts. And it doesn't stop there. Rosemary also keeps mosquitoes away and makes food tastier. What all of these plants have in common is that they don't need much to grow. They often resist the strong sun, lack of water, and even people's carelessness. This shows how generous nature is and how, in the past, people depended on it for almost everything. Today, with pharmacies full of industrialized medicines, we forget that these simple solutions still work. But just because they are natural doesn't mean we can use them anyway. Some plants, such as rue, which we have already mentioned, or Monobody can, are poisonous if ingested. Others, like aloe vera, are great for burns but should not be used on open wounds. Therefore, the ideal is to research beforehand, ask someone who understands, or even take a basic course on medicinal plants. This way, we avoid mistakes and only take advantage of what is good about them. An easy tip to get started is to look at what grows near you. That little plant that grows in the pot on the balcony or in the corner of the wall could be just what you need for a headache or a bad night's sleep. Chamomile, for example, is famous for calming, but few people know that it also helps with digestion. A tea made with dried flowers after lunch can prevent that heavy stomach feeling. Another plant worth knowing is mint. In addition to leaving your breath fresh, it relieves nausea and cramps. If you have a tree at home, you can use the leaves to make iced tea in the summer or even put it in juices. And if you have heartburn, chewing a raw leaf can bring quick relief. The cool thing is that mint grows so easily that if you plant a branch, you'll soon have a bunch. The most important thing is not to be afraid to experiment, but always be careful. Start with plants you already know, such as basil, which in addition to seasoning food, helps combat stress. Or sage, which is great for gargling when your throat is sore. Over time, you will discover others and realize how nature is full of practical and cheap solutions. In the end, recovering this knowledge is like talking to our grandparents. They knew that the earth gives everything we need, as long as we know how to ask for it. And the best part, these plants cost nothing, they don't pollute, and they are within everyone's reach. Just pay attention, respect limits, and let ancient wisdom teach us how to live in a simpler and healthier way.